So I was browsing the internet one day and I suddenly got a message from an old high school friend on Instagram, who by the way is a jewelry designer, silver/goldsmith, artist, overall baddie, and yeah, go check her out and please be respectful. Hi Kat. Anyhow, Kat sent me a link to a nylon rope keychain that costs... What the f? So we need to talk about this. We're gonna find out if this is one big scam. I'm gonna show you how to make this at home, but for cheaper. Here's how. So way back in the late 1900s, Kat and I used to sit next to each other in grade 9 science class. But also we hung out a lot in the art room, and we were in the same grade 11 design class, where we made a bunch of cool things. And this is relevant because the product in question is a nylon rope keychain from a brand called Miu Miu that was selling for a whopping $400. Now I am the opposite of fashion forward, as I have holes in my socks, I wear cargo pants every day, and I might even have holes in my underwear. But one thing I know is that I would never pay an amount like that for a freaking keychain. We don't ever need to pay those insane, exorbitant amounts, nor would we, because we know better, and I'll have a full price breakdown at the end. Now, according to the information on the store page that I saw, the material is 100% steel for the keyring hardware and 100% polyester for the cord. Although I have seen the listing as nylon on other sites. But we've basically got paracord and keyring hardware. Oh, and by the way, the cord and hardware you're seeing today is available at paracordweavers.com for extremely reasonable prices, of course. Links in the description. So the moment you all saw that ridiculous Miu Miu keychain, I'm sure most of you that even have a bit of experience with paracord recognize the weave as the box knot, or also known as a crown sinnet. It's a very easy to tie knot, and it goes a little something like this. I'm going to be using this really cool goldenrod with reflective tracers to make it our own version of fancy. The pattern is very simple with the cords crossed over. We just make our box knot pattern. Just make sure the strands cross over on the same sides, because if you angle them, that's a totally different knot. So now, what is with this Miu Miu keychain? This is one of those things that I'm just not going to get, because honestly, I really don't know how you can justify paying almost 400 doll hairs for a braided rope keychain. Also, it's even listed on their site as a nylon trick. Ironic, because they're basically tricking you into buying it. Am I right? I mean, for that price, you could get a really nice wallet or even a fancy bag for the ladies out there. Now, I think if most people saw a simple rope keychain like that, they wouldn't think anything of it and probably just see it as one of those impulse buy accessories that you get for a few bucks. But I guess when you're charging $3,000 to $4,000 for one of your handbags, $400 for a keychain is an absolute steal. So look, I'm not here to hate, and people can do whatever they want with their hard-earned dollars. And don't get me wrong, I totally get spending your money on something you just really want, as I have done that myself, and I have overspent on certain things that I'm really into. Not all the time, but just once in a while to reward myself for some hard work that I've done. But I am clearly not the target demographic here when it comes to these bags and keychains, and I feel like I speak for a lot of you watching as well. I also gotta say, I have nothing against designer brands. They're not really my thing, and I don't personally own anything high-end or high fashion, as I mentioned. And getting back to occasionally spending a bit more than you should on something, I think it's totally fine. In fact, I have no problem spending a bit more on something if I know it's really nice, special, or if I just like it and I know I'll get a lot of use out of it. I mean, there are some sling bags out there that approach the $150 to $200 mark that I wouldn't mind getting. But those are actually made by small businesses and often made by a single person. And I personally love supporting small businesses and people doing what they love. But let's be honest, those Miu Miu keychains are made in some factory owned by a faceless corporation. I'm also sure some people might just buy it as a way to flex. I personally think there are better ways to flex though. I think a $400 watch would be a much better way to flex than a $400 keychain. And as I weave this keychain, it's starting to remind me of something. Going back to the late 1900s again, we used to make these box knot keychains out of this sort of flat plastic cord, and we called it GIMP.
Bring out the GIMP.
I think the GIMP's sleeping.
Well, I guess you just have to go wake him up now, won't you?
No, not that GIMP, this stuff. Now, I distinctly remember making these bracelets and keychains at summer camp, which was a ton of fun. And I think the first GIMP bracelet I made was the Zipper Signet as well, which I've also made a video about, and we actually have a Paracord kit available for that on the site that you can check out. That all being said though, you yourself may not be into this kind of stuff, but hey, maybe, just maybe, you know someone who is. You might have a friend, significant other, or family member who is into this. And you know, you can make one of these for a mere 1% of what these crazy fashion companies are charging. And that being said, I would go as far as to say that even though the cost to make is cheaper, it's actually worth more. Why? Because you made it yourself with your very own hands, and you are awesome. So here is our Weavers of Eternity version of the overpriced keychain. And what do we spend to make it? So here's the full breakdown, which isn't much at all. We used about 6 feet of paracord, which roughly works out to 89 cents. And then we used some keychain hardware, which was $1.33. And the clasps I used is slightly different from the one we have on the site, but the ones I'll have linked in the description look even closer to the ones that Miu Miu used. Which brings us to a grand total of $2.22. But you know, let's throw in a couple extra bucks for shipping and taxes, which will bring us to about $4. Because that's kind of what I put in the title. But you can see it's close enough. So after making this keychain, I have personally come to the conclusion that yes, paying $400 for a keychain made out of a bit of polyester rope and some keychain hardware is 100% insane. Because really, you could buy some way more cool things than that with that amount of money. There is no way you can really justify paying about $400 for a nylon rope keychain. I mean, maybe if the keychain hardware was made of solid gold and it was woven by blind artisans that also have no hands or something. However, I do realize that in this day and age, attention is currency. And I think what it comes down to is that this is what's called outrage marketing. Just make something so ridiculous and outrageous that people have to pay attention to it. They're going to talk about it, and enough eyeballs look at it, there are bound to be some people that will actually buy it. Marketing 101 in 2024. But if you want to see a less ridiculous rage-baiting paracord product that I also made for cheaper, check out this video here.